Okay, got a little setback in the wood shop. I installed this compressor, maybe 5 months ago, something like that. It's brand new, and already the pressure switch has gone out. I looked for a match for the exact same pressure switch, and this was as close as I could get. This is the 20425A, and this is the 204. This number right here, the E number, matches exactly. So I'm going to throw this on. This is a high pressure switch. They make different models. Some only go up to 120 pounds. This goes up to 180 pounds, which is the same as this. Problem is that we have an elbow here. I could have replaced just this. This is the pressure sensor, and that goes to right here. But I couldn't find this exact same one. In fact, all of the ones with an elbow on it looked completely different, and I can make this one work, but I have to put a new piece of line in. I believe, yeah, that's a compression fitting. Same here. What I'll do is splice in a new piece. I'm going to need a longer line, and we'll put an elbow going down to the pressure switch. So I got some 1/4-inch line. I thought I had a bender laying around, but I don't. Nothing that'll work on 1/4-inch copper like this. So what I'm going to do is smash up one of the ends so that it doesn't leak, and I'll take a fair-sized section of it and fill it with soap water and put that in the freezer, let it freeze, and then once you do that, you should be able to just bend it. I'll take something round and bend it around it, and it should bend without kinking. The soap water, well, the soap in the water keeps the water from freezing 100%, but it still has the volume inside that won't let it kink. You can do the same thing with sand, but I don't have any really fine sand. Once it's bent, I'll cut off that end and cut it to size. I don't have the union yet, but we'll get that before the video is done. All right, let me get a chunk of this and we'll get some water in it. Yeah, this is nice and heavy duty. We'll take it to right about there. Okay, we'll ream that out a little bit and crimp the other end, and we'll be good to go. Okay, I got that crimped up. Let me go put this in the freezer and we'll get going on replacing the switch itself. Okay, now I got to pull this switch off and remove all this stuff from it and put it on that switch. But first, I'm going to do a double lockout. We're off right there, but I'm going to shut this off. Okay, that would be this one. Shut it off at the breaker, and we'll see if it turns on. It does not, but we'll leave it off. Okay, first thing to do is take off the copper line here. Then we got electrical going in, electrical coming out, the gauge, and we got one port plugged here, and the other port is going into the tank. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 ports that have to have something in it, and the 2 electrical. So this isn't a huge problem, but it's definitely going to take a while, and I got to cut this copper at some point. Okay, let's get at it. Oh, I should point something out, that I had to cut this switch right here And the new one comes with a switch that does not run into the electrical. Should be plenty clearance there. So that's one bonus. All right. So this is a 1/2 inch or 13 millimeter. If you're doing this at home, you got to make sure that you drained the air out of the tank. See if I can pull that off. I am cutting this, so it really doesn't matter if I pull it off or not, but we'll just leave it. Now we'll get both of these electrical off. Got to take this cover off to do it. I contacted the people I bought this from and Puma, and neither one of them responded. I need a Phillips for that. Okay. I'm wondering if I can leave most of this stuff alone and just replace the switch. We'll take this off and see what we got under there. That would be a lot easier than taking everything apart. Well, that's interesting. This whole bottom plate just came off. Yeah. I don't know what all that stuff is, and I'll probably never get it back together. But yeah, I'm gonna have to take that apart, because if I do the same thing on my new one, it's gonna do this as well. Just, you know, it's got a big spring in there, and yeah, we'll just take it all apart. 17 millimeter. I've never taken one of these apart, but I have worked with copper lines quite a bit, and fittings and stuff. Once I get the new one on, I'm going to take this apart just so I can see what makes it tick. Now I have 2 plugs in here, and then I have to take the base plate itself off and put all that stuff on the new one. Not much to remember on this. The load is on the right, the line is on the left. And that's pretty self-explanatory just by looking at it. I believe it says it on it as well. Yeah, it says motor on it. That's interesting. I didn't notice that when I wired this up, but the ground from the compressor was not hooked up. It was just laying in there. Right. I need some more tools. Now, if this one fails, right away as well. I'm going to put like a Campbell Housefield or something else, a known brand name. I'm sure they have it made overseas as well, but at least they have quality control. And a lot of the Chinese companies pretty much have no quality control. All right, I'm going to get this on the machine and then turn that last little bit. Should be nice and tight. Okay, let's go get some Blue Monster on that nipple. Okay, got her installed. Hopefully I don't have any leaks with this. Now I'm going to cut it. I don't want it rattling on that, so I'm going to figure out the length to cut it. I don't want it rattling against here either, so I'm probably going to do it back here a bit. But you would think I could just use a bend right here and reuse this fitting, but you really can't do that. You don't want to reuse the little part inside there, the compression part. So we'll just cut that off and throw it away and start fresh. Splice here and the elbow right there, so it's gonna be up higher and go right like that. This is what I was thinking of for doing the bend, but I might be able to just do it by hand and get a tighter bend than that. We'll have to see. I can do it a couple times. I got plenty of copper tubing, so let's go get that out of the freezer and we'll see what we can do. Okay, first we're going to try to bend this by hand. And again, this has that's not bad. This has frozen water with detergent in it. I think that's going to do it just fine. It's a little bit pinched, but the diameter inside of the valve itself is way smaller than that, so it'll be just fine. All right, so I get this straightened out while it's got the soap water in there. Okay, we are as far as we can go. I was looking at these factory joints, and I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that one or not, but all they did was bend that. It's not like done with a mandrel or anything. You can see how flat it is when you look at it from the top there. This is a way better bend than that is. Yeah, you could see the kink. There's a good kink right there. So it doesn't matter as long as, well, let me show you this. The inlet inside here is just a tiny little pinhole. It's probably a 32nd of an inch around, and the diameter of the inside of this is 3/16, so plenty big enough. So, oh, and another thing, I forgot to show you what was going on with this. When this gets to its proper pressure, it kicks off and you can hear it'll go tss, and then stop. That's like any other compressor. It's a pressure switch. When the pressure that comes through this tube right here, and it's getting it from the tank right here, when it reaches a certain pressure, it shuts off the electricity, and then when it gets down to that lower pressure, which I believe is 140, it kicks it back on again. What this was doing was it was getting up to pressure and then letting that air out, and it let the air out all the way until it got to that lower pressure again, and then it would pump back up and then go down and then pump back up and then go down. It was in like an endless cycle. So that means that one or the other is messed up. Either the inside, the switch inside here, or this piece right here. You can buy either one. I forget what. They each have their own name, but together they're a pressure switch. This unit right here, I believe, was like $10, and the entire unit was, I think it was less than $15. So I just got the entire unit. Like I said, they didn't have one with the angle on it. This was the only one that I could find. I looked everywhere. I looked on manufacturer sites. Maybe the old one was discontinued. I have no idea. So tomorrow, once I get these both tightened down and we fire this up, we'll see what the pressure does and see if we got any leaks. Hopefully everything is good and I have air in the shop again. Okay, it's the next day and I went to town and picked up the Union. Let's get this installed and then test for leaks. Before we test this, I want to show you this real quick. This is the inside of the cap. The cut in is 140, just like I said, and the cut out is 175. And you can adjust that, but that's pretty much what it needs to be. Oh, and also it says not made in China, made in Taiwan. That is pretty unusual. And before we test this, we have 877 subscribers and 123 to go before I hit 1,000. If you're not subscribed yet, please do so. We're trying to hit 1,000 before summer, and we got about a month to do it. I think we can do it. Okay. So this has a switch here. That's in the on position. That's in the on. Well, let's turn that off because This is also off. Okay. And safety glasses. Okay, I'm going to get this installed off camera and then we'll fire this up and see if this one works. Got her all connected. It's off right here and there and over here. So we'll turn this on. And this. And this. Okay, according to some guy on the internet, this center screw will adjust both the cut in and cut out, either up or down. Whatever the distance is between those two, it's just going to take them up or down. This one right here, if I turn it in, will increase the difference between the cut in and the cut off. And apparently that's what I need to do, but I wouldn't mind also, once I get that at 30, maybe 40 pounds difference between the two, turn them both down so that it kicks in at, say, well, about right where it is, about 130. So, I don't know, I think I gotta, well, I'm just gonna try it and then we'll turn it back on and see what happens. Okay, from the factory, this is supposed to be set at a 35-pound difference between shut-off and startup, and I cannot get it to do more than 15 psi. I ran both screws all the way in, and the center one, at one point, it started leaking out of here, and I screwed it back in until that stopped. So there is no real adjustment other than when I first got it, it was going between 140 and 165. Now it's going between, 155. 140 and 155. Now it's going from 165 to 180. And no matter how I adjust it, it does not change. This must be a factory preset unit that has no adjustments. All of the videos I've seen about these had units that had big springs on them, and they were adjusting it with a wrench, and this just has a couple little screws. So what I'm going to do is get a much better unit. They cost like $100, but I'm going to wait. I'm just going to use this. It is working within those 15 pounds of range. I'm going to use this until I get the line over to here and out into the garage. I need to test it and stuff, and compressed air is not my biggest need right now. As long as this works, I'm going to use it the way it is until I start to do sanding and stuff. I'm going to have a setup right over there with a sanding table and my regulators and stuff. So when I start doing that, I'm going to put a much better regulator on here. But for now, this is going to have to do. Okay, so When that project stalled, I started work on this miter table project. I just got several things for that, so I'm going to get this place nice and cleaned up, and we're going to restart on that again. I should have it completely functional and start testing the